The bright sun hung high over Miami Beach, casting its golden rays across the shimmering surface of the hotel pool. The air was warm, the sky a perfect shade of blue. It was the ideal day for a vacation. Lauren Mitchell, along with her 2 children, Max and Katie, were finally able to unwind, escaping the chaos of their life back in Washington, D.C. After years of juggling a demanding political career and raising her kids as a single mother following her husband's passing, Lauren had earned every moment of this peace. She was a respected senator and a fierce advocate for the people, yet most outside her political circle knew her simply as a mother who worked hard for her family's future. Today, though, there were no debates, no speeches to give. Just the soothing sounds of her kids splashing around in the pool. Max and Katie were carefree, laughing without a care in the world. Lauren could feel the weight of the past months of grueling meetings and late-night legislative sessions finally lifting from her shoulders. A soft smile spread across her face as she relaxed in the sun, sipping her iced tea, fully embracing the serenity. But that tranquility was short-lived. A shadow suddenly loomed over her, and as she looked up, she saw 2 officers walking toward her, their stern expressions immediately setting her on edge. Officers William and David were not here for casual conversation. Lauren sat up, her instincts kicking in. Something didn't feel right. "Ma'am," Officer Williams said, crossing his arms over his chest, his tone as rigid as his posture. "What are you doing here?" Lauren's brow furrowed in confusion at the odd question. "Excuse me?" I asked. Officer William repeated, his voice now sharper. "What are you doing here? Are you staying at this hotel?" Taken aback, Lauren answered with a calm that she didn't entirely feel. "Yes, I'm staying here." "Is there a problem?" Officer David's gaze shifted to Max and Katie, who were swimming closer to their mother. A sneer tugged at his lips. "This pool is for hotel guests only," he remarked, his voice laced with condescension. "We're going to need to see some ID." Lauren blinked, struggling to process the situation. "You're asking me for ID because I'm sitting by the pools?" "Yes," Officer David responded, a smug grin appearing on his face. "And your kids too. We need to make sure you belong here." Lauren's heart began to race. This wasn't just a routine check. Something was wrong, and she could feel it deep in her gut. Max and Katie had noticed the officers now, and were swimming over to her, their innocent faces growing worried. She could see the discomfort on their faces, could feel their unease building. She wanted to reassure them, but deep down, she knew this wasn't a normal situation. "I've been here for days," Lauren said, her voice steady despite the tension gnawing at her. "My name is Lauren Mitchell. I'm staying in room 512. We'll need to verify that," Officer Williams said, not sounding convinced. He glanced over at Officer David, who immediately reached for his radio. Katie, her young voice trembling, whispered, "Mom, are we in trouble?" Lauren squeezed her daughter's hand tightly, trying to calm her. "No, sweetie, everything's fine." But inside, Lauren knew that everything was far from fine. As Officer David called for verification, she could feel the eyes of the crowd around the pool weighing heavily on her. People were watching, their stares full of judgment and curiosity. She hated the feeling of being in the spotlight, but there was no escaping it now. Max, always the more outspoken of her 2 children, looked up at Officer William and, with a mix of confusion and defiance, asked, "Why are you asking us these questions? We didn't do anything wrong." Officer Williams' face remained impassive. "Just the following procedure, son." "Procedure for what?" Max shot back. "We're just swimming." Lauren's heart swelled with pride at Max's bravery. He was fearless, even in the face of uncertainty. But she didn't want him to get caught up in this mess. She reached out to him, her voice gentle but firm. "Max, it's okay." But deep down, she knew it wasn't. The tension in the air was thick, and Lauren could feel her blood pressure rising. As the minutes passed, the sense of unease only intensified. She knew something wasn't right, and when Officer David returned with that smirk on his face, she braced herself for what was to come. "Room 512, huh?" David said, eyeing Lauren with a mocking gleam in his eyes. "Well, we're not getting any record of you in that room." "Care to explain?" Lauren was momentarily stunned. "That's impossible," she responded, trying to keep her voice steady. "I checked in just yesterday." "You must be mistaken." David, however, wasn't interested in hearing her side. "No mistake, ma'am," he said, his tone dripping with sarcasm. "I suggest you and your kids pack your things and leave the premises immediately." Lauren's temper flared. She stood up, the anger bubbling beneath her composed exterior. "I'm not going anywhere," she said, her voice steady but firm. "I paid for this room, and I'm not about to be bullied out of here because you don't like the way I look." The crowd, which had been quietly watching the scene unfold, began to murmur. Some even started recording the interaction on their phones. Lauren could feel their eyes on her, and the discomfort was almost unbearable. "You have no right to treat us like this," she added, her words sharp with indignation. "Is this how you treat all your guests, or just the ones who look like me?" Officer Williams' face twisted with anger. "Watch your tone, lady," he snarled. "We're the law here." Katie, her young daughter, clung tightly to Lauren's side, her wide eyes full of fear. Max, always the more defiant of the two, stood beside Lauren with his chin held high. Though he didn't say a word, his posture spoke volumes. He wasn't going to be intimidated. Before Lauren could respond, Officer William reached out and grabbed her arm. "That's it. You're coming with us," he growled. Lauren stood her ground, refusing to be dragged away like a criminal. Her heart was pounding, but she remained calm, knowing she had done nothing wrong. She was not going to let them push her around. Just as things were about to escalate, a voice cut through the tension. "What on earth is going on here?" It was the hotel manager, Mr. Daniels, who rushed over, pushing through the crowd. He looked at Lauren, then at the officers, clearly confused by the scene unfolding before him. "These people don't belong here," Officer David said quickly, trying to justify his actions. "That's not true," Lauren shot back, locking eyes with the manager. "I've been staying here since yesterday, and I demand you check your records again." Daniels hesitated, glancing nervously between Lauren and the two officers. I'll check right now," he said, his voice unsure. Officer Williams scoffed dismissively. "No need. We've already..." But Daniels cut him off. "No, I'll check." Moments later, Daniels returned, looking flustered. "There's been a mistake," he said, clearly embarrassed. "Mrs. Mitchell is indeed a guest here. I apologize for any misunderstanding." David's smug expression faltered, and Officer Williams' grip on Lauren's arm loosened. But as he looked up, The realization suddenly hit him like a freight train. "Mitchell?" Officer William asked, as if the name had finally clicked in his mind. "Yes," Lauren said, stepping forward, her voice cold and commanding. "Senator Lauren Mitchell." The officers stood there, stunned, as the full weight of their mistake sank in. They had just harassed a sitting senator, and the expressions on their faces made it clear. They knew they were in serious trouble. "I'll be filing a formal complaint," Lauren said, her tone unwavering. "You'll both be hearing from my lawyer." The crowd, which had been watching in hushed silence, erupted into whispers. The officers, now pale and nervous, quickly mumbled apologies and retreated, their heads hanging low. Lauren turned to her kids, offering them a reassuring smile. "Let's go, sweethearts. Our vacation isn't over yet." As they walked away, Lauren could feel a sense of justice wash over her. The officers had crossed a line, but in the end, they learned a lesson they wouldn't forget. For Lauren, it was a small but meaningful victory, a reminder that, even in the face of unfair treatment, standing up for yourself and your rights can make all the difference. And that, my friends, is where the story comes to an end. I hope you found it as gripping and eye-opening as I did. If you enjoyed the story, don't hesitate to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more incredible stories like this. Be sure to turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest content. Thanks for watching, and have a wonderful day.